I think they're gonna knock the house down, and then they tore some, took some trees down. And I saw the tree truck. So I dialed the guy's number and I asked him if he'd mind if I take some wood. I got a lot more yesterday. The truck full yesterday.
All right, so I was in the middle of my workout and I heard this man across the way, and he let me videotape him. We had a short conversation, which I'll put in this. But I came up with the idea that this was the greatest way to explain the dilemma of the creators. See, the creators, we make stuff, and this man was, he found some material. They cut down a tree, and he found a tree that was discarded that he thought he could use for firewood. So he didn't just go and grab the tree. I said, well, so how, did you cut down the tree? He said, no. I contacted the people who cut down the tree, and they said, do whatever you want with the stuff. And so then I decided to do the work of splitting it and chopping down the wood. This is the same thing that we as creators want people to do with what it is that we make, right? Like, don't just take our stuff and assume that it's okay to just grab our stuff and just use it however you want without checking with us. Now, they might have charged him a fee. They might have charged him a fee that maybe he thought was okay and he paid it, or maybe it charged him a fee that he thought was too much and he would say no. But that was their prerogative to talk to him and to see, and he went about things the right way. When you have somebody like this young man who didn't contact Kenny Washington, he didn't talk to him, he didn't say anything, he doesn't even know the man, and then he took offense. It's very much like if this guy just took the firewood and then got some sort of fine or something and was indignant about it. It's no different. I thought this was a great analogy, and I hope you can dig what it is that I'm talking about to you right now. Yeah, later on. Oh, it's being so weird. It keeps saying my request wasn't sent. I take that as a rite of passage. And I know you do too, like with the Indian thing, tabla and all that. You don't just come out here and start playing tabla. So I was curious to see like what perspective you had from the Kenny Washington situation. And Kenny Washington is a genius, and he's been doing that and working on that body of work. He doesn't write tunes. He doesn't have a band. His playing is his body of work. I don't know, I feel like there's certain things in jazz that kind of get talked about kind of like separately. But then if we were to study Cuban music, then we have all this deference. Or if we study certain drum traditions get serious deference in a certain kind of way that you wouldn't dare talk about it. Like I wouldn't dare, you won't find any video of me talking about the clave. It just won't happen. But I feel like Kenny's cymbal beat is similar territory. So I was like, I'll talk to him about it and we'll let the people hear the conversation, because unless the jazz drummers, do you consider yourself a jazz drummer? Okay. So yeah, we really got to respect our tradition as much as like, somebody says similar to Steve Jordan. I don't know what you mean. But we got to like really respect our tradition and make people come into it, because there's people who kind of like will come in and will dabble in this, and then you'll say, well, play some tabla, rhythms or whatever. Oh, no, I wouldn't dare. It's kind of like, well, then don't dare like explain brushes, or don't dare, like we work hard. Well, all right. So we had that little talk that you just saw. We left the talk with a plan to talk again the following week. It was a good start to the dialogue, to us, getting to an understanding, and I personally thought it was good for all the people to see our points of views different as they were, but also to see how we handle it and how we move forward. But in the interim, a couple of weird things happened. People started making comments, started to make their side known. It became kind of weird. Then I had a weird call with Dan where he started asking me like if I had a problem with it. Things just got weird, so I thought I should make a post to clear the air and to really be clear about what my ideas were, and to just, just move forward in a positive nature or in a positive fashion. And so then this is what happened. So this person did reached out and did a breakdown of his playing and things. But I thought it was very uncharacteristic for this person to do that, because their playing doesn't really exhibit any of those sorts of things. And this music being a folk art is handed down one to the other, and there's a lot of things you can't get from him. I reached out to him, and I expected to have an exchange like, hey man, you did a breakdown of Kenny. What happened with that? What was that? And I expected to hear like, oh, I studied with Kenny at a summer camp, and he had a big impression on me, or I studied with Kenny at this time or that time, especially when you're doing it for profit. And he did it for profit. Maybe I left that part out, but let's be clear. So, moving forward, we're having a conversation, and long story short, not only did he not know Kenny, because I talked to Kenny for 2 hours the other day about this issue, not only did he not know Kenny, but he had no relationship to Kenny. I never saw him at a gig. Kenny Washington's exact words to me were, who is so-and-so, and what is a Patreon? I don't like that. To say it plainly and simply, if you use someone's name and likeness for profit, they should share in the profits. Simple. If you're analyzing someone for learning purposes and you share it, that person should at least be able to view the thing, and you should have some relationship with them. This is not, I repeat, this is not a black or white thing. Not that. This is not this music is our music. That's divisive, and it's, in my opinion, it's not very intelligent. There are amazing players all across the board. There are amazing teachers all across the board that teach all kinds of things. I had planned on, this person and myself had planned on speaking about this issue in public on this platform tomorrow. I got a phone call, one of those phone calls, hey, do you have a problem with me? Blah, 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 blah. If you know me, it's not personal. This is not personal. This is something that I love, music, but it is not my life. It is very important to my life. I just wanted to have a conversation. If this is art, and I believe that it is, then we should be able to openly and honestly discuss the art form. And if we can't openly and honestly discuss the art form, then fine. Don't openly discuss the art form. One. So I definitely thought it was real wild for him to react this way, but this is what happens when someone doesn't have a lot of experience and hasn't really been involved in the culture. Like, if he don't talk about, these drummers, whether it be Clyde Stubblefield or whether it be Kenny Washington or whatever, or whether he doesn't go, or whether he, you know, has to go to the Indian tradition and talk about that, what is he going to talk about? But you can't rewrite history or break the rules to do it. I guess that's kind of the real point. What's this all about and how do we move forward? I felt it was important to speak on this because this was the first time to my knowledge that this particular offense happened while the person was still very much alive. We've all seen the outpouring of love and support after a person dies. Everyone digs up the 1 or 2 pictures that they took with that person. Maybe they have a few anecdotal stories from their semester studying with this person or an encounter they had at jazz camp, etc., etc. But this is the first time, again, to my knowledge, that a man who is alive and well was excluded from a conversation about his work. And that conversation for profit was by someone that had no relationship to the artist or either permission. But there are other firsts now that make this situation different. This is the first time where creators are being involved in the equity conversation. We have the big boys like Jay-Z and Kanye.
As Jay-Z put it, money ain't a thing. Methinks he protesteth too much when we're talking about a $300 million deal.
Let's have a toast for Kanye West's bank account. As revealed in a new Bloomberg report and confirmed by a rep to Billboard, the runaway singer is now worth a staggering $6.6 billion. According to a private document obtained by Bloomberg, Kanye's Yeezy brand has been valued at between $3.2 billion and $4.7 billion, with as much as $970 million of that total tied to his new clothing line for Gap.
We also have Dave Chappelle in his situation.
I asked you to stop watching the show, and thank God Almighty for you, you did.
Dave Chappelle says Chappelle's show has returned to Netflix with his blessing thanks to his fans. Back in November, Chappelle released a stand-up video detailing the contract he signed at the outset of Chappelle's show, which ran from 2003 to 2006 on Comedy Central.
People think I made a lot of money for Chappelle's show. When I left that show, I never got paid. They didn't have to pay me because I signed the contract.
He revealed that when he learned Netflix was streaming the show, he asked them to pull it, which they subsequently did. He also asked fans to stop watching Chappelle's show on the other streaming platforms where it was available.
Do not watch it unless they pay me.
Now, in a new video, Chappelle is thanking his fans for listening to him.
You made that show worthless because without your eyes, it's nothing.
He went on to say, and when you stopped watching it, they called me.
And I got my name back, and I got my license back, and I got my show back, and they paid me millions of dollars. Thank you very much.
Chappelle then thanked Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos for having, quote, the courage to take the show off its platform, as well as Chris McCarthy of Viacom CBS for, quote, making the past right by completing the deal. Chappelle's show returned to Netflix February 12th.
And last but not least, there's the Versus deal that had Swizz Beatz and Timberland able to bring in all the creators with them as equity shareholders.
So the Triller Versus was a very it's a very unique opportunity because Triller already had creatives as owners in the company, and I thought that was pretty amazing because they always use us to get to the IPO. They always use the talent to go public, but we're never really a part of the public offerings. And, that was like when me and Tim was negotiating our deals, Triller was the only place that we can bring all our friends with us. And that was a very big point for us. And, a lot of times when people mention the word culture, our culture feels like you can't do business if you're in the culture. It's like you can't do business, right? It's like just because you say culture or you can't do business, or they felt like you did something wrong or this, that, and the third. I feel that our culture need to do more business. Mm-hmm. And Triller's allowing us to do more business. Like we got to bring 43, not just friends, but greats with us to participate, which probably going to be the biggest creative IPO public offering in history, period.
So maybe this video will have people to think about the things they're doing and do things differently. Maybe you'll talk about people while they're alive and show them love and respect and honor while they're alive, instead of waiting till they're gone. Or when you see a product with someone's name on it, or using someone's name in the under the guise rather of exposure, which is kind of the age-old thing of saying things to the effect of, well, hopefully they'll go and they'll check out this person's work after that, while you're making a profit. Hopefully you'll ask more questions like, do you know this person? Are they a part of this offering? What did they say about it? And these things will help you to better help us do what we need to do. Just because you can't hold it in your hand, it doesn't mean that someone didn't work really hard to make this thing. So, yeah, we appreciate your support in this matter. As for Dan, the gentleman that inspired this video, you know, sometimes people don't know how to make a thing right. They made a mistake, they stepped in something, and they don't know how to make it right. So I'll make it plain. Give Kenny Washington a call and write a check. You got a check, write a check. It's just that simple. We don't want words. There's no more lip service at this point. Make it right the same way. Make him whole the same way you were made whole. Thanks.